Paul Thomas Anderson began his directing and screenwriting career in 1993 with the debut of his first film, Cigarettes and Coffee. He began exploring a world of cinema as a teenager and implemented his creative vision through screenwriting and music. The following will introduce the scores behind P.T. Anderson's most famous pieces, as well as understanding the power of an instrument and what it means to hear underneath the visual of film. Paul Thomas Anderson has opened a door of endless possibilities by evoking various emotion from audiences all around the world. The purpose of a song is to tell a story to the audience and to set the overall mood for the scene and relative action. It is important for the visuals to coincide with the rhythm of the score in order to produce a fluent overlap between the two mediums. P.T. Anderson's Inherent Vice follows a private detective known as Doc in helping a former lover's plead for help, known as Shasta. When Shasta disappears, Doc navigates a psychedelic world of surfers, stoners, and cops to try and solve the case. During the opening scene of Inherent Vice, a snare drum is heard as the title Inherent Vice appears. This not only enhances the appearance of the title, but also marks the beginning of the film. The lyrics repeating "Hey you" portray Doc's inner thoughts as he watches Shasta drive away. In this scene, the lyrics echo the history of their relationship, as if Doc is calling out for her to come back home, portrayed in the opening scene. The strong beat of the drum hits on the character's emotions and the audience's observation in the mystery that is Shasta's absence. To the audience, the beat causes an awakening and anticipation for the following scene. This score, chosen by P.T. Anderson, reflects the emotions of the characters on screen, but also foreshadows the events that will soon reveal. There Will Be Blood introduces silver miner Daniel Plainsview, who leads a hardscrabble life with his son, H.W. Hearing about oil oozing from the ground near the western town of Little Boston, Daniel sets out to create his own oil rig company, however slowly deviating into moral bankruptcy as his fortune grows. This particular film challenges the theme of brotherhood and safety through the syncopated rhythm of percussion instruments against the violin concerto. The inner anger and rage of the characters fluctuates to the dramatic scene of events and increases the setting of the jarred scene, introducing the emotions of confusion and chaos. As Daniel is seen running away with his son, the audience becomes weary of the offbeat soundtrack and the explosion of the onshore oil rig that endured moments ago. The score gradually progresses in pace, putting the viewer in an uncomfortable position at the alarming sound of the wooden instruments. This contrast between the visual and the score components P.T. Anderson has chosen to provide psychologically induces a feeling of wanting the characters to escape from the situation. P.T. Anderson specifically uses a combination of the visual and the instruments in order to distort the film even further and to highlight the vulgarity of the film. In a familiar syncopated rhythm, P.T. Anderson's The Master focuses on a troubled, boozy drifter struggling with the trauma of World War II. Freddie boards a passing boat and meets Lancaster Dodd, who then forms a close brotherly bond. However, all the other members of Dodd's inner circle continue to see Freddie as a threat to their life. The opening score of Freddie working on the beach in The Master is alike to that in There Will Be Blood. Embodying a native drumming style, both these visuals could be seen as barbaric. However, the ability to differentiate between the two scores only add to the simplicity of P.T. Anderson's work. In both films, the unique instrumentation depicts the senselessness of Freddie's nature and the violence of Daniel in There Will Be Blood. The two films draw on the repetition in P.T. Anderson's work, and the precise crafting of the score only implement the name of the unmistakable director. Here is another scene from There Will Be Blood, chosen by P.T. Anderson, to underline the past events and weight of the history and the relationship between Daniel and his colleague. The gratitude of score can change your perspective towards cinema, especially when delicately composed to fit exactly what the scene entails. P.T. Anderson hits on emotions that draws the audience into the depth of each of his films. Anderson's value of music can be seen through his progression from a soft, sultry tempo in Inherent Vice to an orchestrated symphony in There Will Be Blood and The Master. However, music in film tells a story that shadows the reality of the overall theme. P.T. Anderson can challenge the cinematic experience and bring it to its fullest potential through the subtleties of sound. His films teach us to pay attention to detail, even if we can't see them.